You know that feeling, right? That deep down your bones kind of tired. But what happens when that feeling just doesn't go away? Today we're going to dig into the line between normal, everyday fatigue and a really serious medical condition. And we'll be using some great insights from Dr. Sayed Asadillah Arsalan to help us solve this mystery of exhaustion.
I mean, it's the big question, isn't it? In this crazy, fast-paced world we live in, it feels like pretty much everyone is running on fumes. We have all this technology to make life easier and faster, but "I'm exhausted" seems to be the one thing we all have in common. So what is actually going on inside our bodies?
Okay, so to really get a handle on exhaustion, we have to start with energy. Dr. Arsalan explains it perfectly. Our body is kind of like a machine. It needs fuel to run. And that fuel comes from the food we eat, which our body turns into this incredible molecule called ATP. Think of ATP as the gasoline for your body.
So get this, fatigue is actually a vital signal. It's basically your body's low fuel light flashing on the dashboard. When our energy, that ATP we just talked about, starts running low after a long day or a hard workout, our body sends out this message that says, hey, time to stop, rest, and refuel. It's a brilliant built-in safety feature. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It turns out fatigue isn't just one simple thing. You can actually break it down into two totally different types. And this explains so much, like why sometimes you feel tired in your muscles, but other times it feels like the exhaustion is all in your head. So on one hand, you've got mechanical fatigue. This is the easy one. Your gas tank is literally empty. Your muscle fibers have burned through all their available ATP. That's that classic feeling after you've hit the gym hard. But then you have neurological fatigue. And this is fascinating. The energy is actually there, the ATP is ready to go, but your brain just isn't sending the signal to move. It's like your mind is hitting the brakes, saying, nope, we're done, even when your body could technically keep going.
And this example from Dr. Arsalan just nails it. Picture this. You are completely wiped out at home. A friend calls and asks for help with something boring, like moving furniture, and you're just like, no way, I can't even move. But then, a little while later, another friend calls with an invitation to something you're genuinely excited about, and boom, suddenly you have all the energy in the world. That's neurological fatigue in a nutshell. Your mindset, your emotional state, can literally switch that feeling of exhaustion on or off. So, okay, we've got these two types of normal fatigue, but what happens when that feeling isn't temporary? When a good night's sleep does absolutely nothing? Well, that's when we cross over from a normal body signal into the realm of a very complex and serious medical condition, chronic fatigue syndrome. And this right here is the absolute most critical difference. With normal fatigue, you rest, you recharge, you're good to go. But with chronic fatigue, rest doesn't work. The exhaustion is deep, it's persistent, and it just doesn't get better even if you sleep for 10 hours. And for doctors to even begin to consider this diagnosis, there's a clear line in the sand. This debilitating exhaustion has to stick around for more than 6 months. Just think about that. Half a year or more of feeling completely and utterly drained every single day. You know, this isn't some brand new thing. The story of chronic fatigue syndrome actually starts way back in the 1950s. Doctors in the US and then in England started noticing these strange clusters of patients, often nurses and other medical staff, with this unexplained, persistent fatigue that they couldn't shake. But it took decades of observation and research before it was finally recognized and given an official name in 1988. And that's because a diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome isn't just about feeling tired, even really, really tired. It's a syndrome, which is just a medical term for a whole collection of symptoms that all point to the same underlying problem. It's a much bigger picture. So on top of that core symptom of just crushing fatigue, people with CFS often get recurring sore throats, headaches that feel totally new and different, and all over muscle and joint pain. And here's a really key detail. That pain comes without any swelling or redness. They also often get dizzy, and maybe the worst part, they wake up from a full night's sleep feeling like they haven't slept at all. And check this out. This is a super clever diagnostic clue that helps doctors. Lots of things can cause joint pain, right? But with something like arthritis, you can see it. You get redness, swelling, maybe some heat. The fascinating thing about CFS is that the joint pain can be severe, but there are none of those telltale external signs. It's a really important piece of the puzzle. So what causes it? Well, that's the million-dollar question. And frankly, it's one of the most frustrating parts of this illness. There isn't a single test, no scan or blood work that can give you a definitive yes or no. But research is pointing to a few very strong suspects. Right now, scientists are basically chasing down 3 main leads. The first is a viral trigger.
A lot of people develop CFS right after getting sick with a virus. The second is a problem with the immune system, the idea that the body's own defense system has gone haywire. And the third is hormonal imbalances, suggesting the body's delicate chemical messaging system has been thrown off track.
So after all this science, why does it really matter? Why is it so important to understand the difference between being tired and having a chronic illness? Well, it all comes down to a person's quality of life, and just how deeply this condition can affect someone. And here's the bottom line. While chronic fatigue syndrome might not be fatal, it is absolutely life-shattering. It can destroy careers, friendships, and family relationships. Think about it. It can be incredibly isolating, leaving people to fight this debilitating illness that nobody else can even see. And that really just leaves us with one final important question to ask ourselves. Now that we know the difference, it's about learning to really listen to our bodies, to take symptoms that stick around seriously, and to recognize when just being tired might actually be a sign that it's time to look for a deeper answer.